Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you, so send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. And today our guest again is Danielle Rose. She's the wife, a mother, and a Catholic recording artist. Please go to her website, daniellerose.org. And all this week, because it's Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month and the month of October. Yeah. It's also the month of the Rosary. I mean, there's so many things. It's Pro-Life Month. So many ways that we can acknowledge life from the moment of conception until natural death. And sometimes some of our losses and what we endure as a couple. Sometimes it's 8 weeks, sometimes it's 10 weeks, sometimes it's right before the baby's born. And we certainly have been in the gamut of them all, working at the Pregnancy Medical Center.
Plus we have 9 miscarriages of our grandchildren.
Plus we have 9 of our own, and the sorrow and the disappointment and the heartache and walking that with your daughter or your daughter-in-law and the pain of that.
But the great stuff of life, you know, I mean, just to the joys and sorrows. So Danielle says, there are countless people who have suffered the loss of a child, whether years ago or in the recent past. Many of these stories often remain untold, with hidden grief that remains buried, and departed children whose beauty still remains unnoticed. Don't let the beauty of your child go unnoticed. So I hope that we'll share more during this time. This is a beautiful resource for healing of miscarriage and stillbirth through song, through the arts, through beauty, through the expression of grief coming to us through tremendous writing and images. So I'm hopeful. This is a resource that's been desperately needed.
Yes.
So comfort to all of you who've miscarried, experienced stillbirth, and don't let the beauty of your child go unnoticed. We'll be right back. There's plenty more to come. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and today our guest again is Danielle Rose. She's the wife, a mother, and a Catholic recording artist. Please go to her website, daniellerose.org. You will be greatly blessed, and you will be enriched in your living and in your loving. Well, Danielle, we so enjoyed having you yesterday, and it was enriching for us just to have that conversation. But tell our family, so you created this CD, beautiful music ministry of Beauty Unnoticed. Tell our family how God used that in your own healing process through all the songs that He gave to your soul.
The album Beauty Unnoticed was the process by which I experienced the healing and surrender of giving our children back to God. When you have a child that dies, it goes to the depths in your heart where you didn't know that pain could go. It just, it goes so deep, and it's very hard to find words. It's hard to know how to pray. It's hard to know how to process it. Yeah. So for me, the writing process and the recording of these songs was the way that God brought that healing to my heart. Yeah. And I'm praying that He can use it as a means of bringing His healing to others as well. I find that once you mention to someone, our daughter was stillborn from a cord accident, and then 6 months later, Frederick Albert was miscarried early in the pregnancy. And as soon as you bring up the story that you've lost a child, you very frequently, the other person will say, we lost a child too. And even today, there's someone here in the audience in the studio that just a few weeks ago, their friend just had a baby that was stillborn. And we were discussing how it's hard to know, what do you do, what do you say? And people can feel timid, like they don't want to say anything, it's so painful, but it's very important to speak about and acknowledge these children, that they don't remain unnoticed, that their beauty is not unnoticed, because the family's already thinking about them all the time. Their heart's already aching, missing them all the time for years and years after. And it's important to be able to give them the opportunity to actually share and speak, and to acknowledge the gift of that child in the family, and acknowledge that that person is a father of that child, a mother of that child, and that their child's life is alive with God. You know?
Well, and part of that grief process, and you sing about it so well, is as a mother or a father who had pregnancy loss, no one's saying anything to you.
No.
There's no words of comfort. It's almost like, you'll get over it, you can have another baby. And so the silence is deafening.
It is.
So then you begin to think, maybe something's wrong with me, that I feel so bad, because nobody's acknowledging how bad I'm feeling. And so it's this complete dismissal. And great disconnect from heaven and earth, and you're like in this no man's land, like, where do I go with my pain and my sorrow?
The human heart knows that no matter if it's 2 days after the pregnancy test was positive and the baby passes away, the heart knows that it is a complete person. Yeah. And so the magnitude of that grief is not based on, oh, the baby was 8 weeks or 40 weeks, or the child was, 16 and they died from cancer. It's like it's a person.
Yeah.
It's a soul that was created in His image.
Yeah.
And so you have to give yourself permission to be able to walk through that grief the same way that it would be for someone that, whatever point in their life that they've died. It's a big grieving process. Yeah. And as a culture, and even as a church, we have a lot of room to grow in walking with people to help them know that they're not alone. For me, it was especially Blessed Mother that gave me the strength with that. Do you mind if I show the front of the album? So this image here is an image of Our Lady. I didn't know it. I stumbled across it and I found it so beautiful. And then I learned it was an image of Our Lady of La Salette in France. And in my own grieving process, I struggled with being like, oh, nobody understands what this is like, unless they've had a stillborn baby too, and they had to deliver the baby that already died and is so traumatic. And then I realized, oh, but there is someone who actually understands. It's Mary. She knows what it's like to lose an innocent child in a tragic death. An innocent child in a tragic death. She understands it from within. And that's our whole faith, is that Jesus doesn't just talk about things. He from within understands all our pain and our suffering. And so does Mary. So when there's someone who's lost a child, like, she's the one that, she truly understands what that's like to lose and how to heal and how to surrender. Instead of closing your heart to God, that you would keep your heart open, that you'd have courage to be able to grieve with God, so that healing and even beauty can come out of it. I think she's the one who kept the doors of my heart just kind of open with her hands in my heart when I gave her permission. She kept those doors like open even when I wanted to just close it. It was so painful. And she kept them open to let God's love pierce in my sorrow and bring His beauty, that I could see and experience His love in deeper ways than I'd ever experienced it before, even through the death of my own children. And that is what I think Mary wants to help all of us in all of our types of suffering, but in a particular way with the loss of a child, that she wants to walk with everyone and help them experience God's love and healing.
Well, there's numerous dimensions to this loss of a child. And respecting that child and making sure this child is noticed, is all that, the grief of the, but then it's the woman in particular, as well as men, but the woman who's united to this death in a way that nobody else is united to this death. And it makes a woman what it means to be uniquely woman, to bleed.
To bleed.
For, united with your child. You talk about a co-suffering and a co-death. Well, I don't know how you can get any closer than delivering your child whose life has passed on to be with the Lord. So this album too, I mean, you voiced this, we've only gone over one song, but you're voicing what's happening to you as this is happening to you, and then shortly thereafter. And so this has to be a great source of healing if people would hear it or see some of the images, in the video portions, because it's not only about honoring the child who is so blessed and honored now with the Lord. I mean, that child isn't the way that child was when you delivered that child. Okay, this child has been transformed. And oftentimes we get stuck just at that point. But, so this child is really being celebrated quite a lot. What about you? Who's ministering to you? Who's ministering to the mother who's experienced this, who's gone through this, who ain't there? I'm still here, and you've flown away, And I think the album addresses that as well as children and the ode to the child and so on. To speak to those dimensions and what the album might do for the mother that's experienced the trauma. I mean, it's trauma because it's a near-death experience. That's what trauma is about. So you are near this death. You're wrapped up in this death.
The death happened in your very body.
Yeah.
The death of the child happened inside of you.
Yeah.
For me, that was very traumatic because I didn't get to even know when I could even say goodbye. That was something that was very painful for me. And so there was one song that called From Home to Home. And that was a song about how God showed me that instead of me just loathing this death taking place in me and being just so traumatized by that he helped me to understand that he gave me the privilege of being the very place where he came to meet that child and take them home to himself. Like he let me be that place where he came and that person, the little baby, saw Jesus' face for the first time, like inside my body.
Yeah.
And that was very healing for me to understand that it was actually a privilege he gave me to be that sanctuary even of his death, that was even a sacred gift that God gave to me.
That's incredibly powerful. Just the phrase, from home. So
From
yes,
home,
it's a place of death.
From
It happened
home.
there. That's very difficult. But
home.
also it's home. Like you made a home. And we don't know, that's why I say when we have people who conceive, I say, you don't know how long you'll have this child. We don't want to scare you about. Today, you have this child. Today, it's the home of the child today.
Today you are this baby's mother.
You're this baby's, and this is the place of residency here. And so from home to home is just beautiful because that's the way it happens sooner rather than
It
later.
happened sooner, but
Right,
all of us are from home to home.
I love
But
it.
this baby was, Mary Seraphine and Frederick Elbert, their home was, they swiftly passed to their eternal home. The songs go through the whole range of the process of the grief, which is there's many layers to the grieving process and many different types of surrenders.
Share a little bit about this one, the Fly
Little One. The words of that song, when I was in the process of being induced to deliver Mary Seraphina's body, it was a very painful, physically the process is very painful, and I had lots of awful reactions to medications and everything. So I was composing the words to that song in the process of trying to pray through that induction. And then it turns out the day that I was recording that actual song, like physically in the months after the death, that day was the day that Frederick Elbert's body was being miscarried also. And so those words and that song was like literally in the process of the baby's body's passing, both of them. Both of those. So that was beautiful and painful, but it was the prayer of surrender.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And what you can and cannot control. All the wantedness couldn't stop that process.
No.
I mean, because if it was about love and wantedness, it would have never happened. And so for you as a woman and a wife and a mother, there is that surrender, like where you say, Lord, if it is your will,
I surrender myself to
I
you, take care of
surrender,
everything.
right?
Yeah.
And so you're going to take this baby from my womb. And as women, we do get to participate with God Almighty in growing babies in our womb. Now, are they promised to go 9 months and then spend, a good 70 years with us here on earth? Maybe, and maybe not. But that's the journey that we take. So tell us about the song about chaos that you wrote about.
Into the Chaos. That's the second song on the album. The
Yeah.
first song, Ode to You, kind of introduces the reality that this child's story is going to be told. This child that's home
Right.
with God. And then it moves right into the plunging into, this is chaos. Like, this is painful. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to God. I'm confused. the process of losing a child, it's like there's like a line in the sand of like before you're with your relationship with God, and then after, like your relationship with God changes. It's the same thing with the death of Jesus. You know, all the disciples, they were just like utterly perplexed. Like, what is God doing? And that happens with us too when we lose a child. We don't understand the mystery of God's will becomes more mysterious. And yet he wants us to surrender to him in that chaos and know that he's in the process of forming us into a new creation and that he hasn't abandoned us, and the child is very much with him and alive. And my prayer is each person, instead of their hearts getting closed off to God, that they can actually become closer to God than ever before, even through the death of their child. That was the gift that he gave to me through this process, for sure.
You say in Into the Chaos, I'm not asking you to take away this pain. I can't avoid this void that still remains. I need strength to face it or again. It's a choice I have to make to let you enter in. Come, Lord, the storm's raging, and you're sleeping in the boat. But I'm staying here. I'm not leaving you. I can't. I won't. My pain shows me where your healing wants to go. It's good. Powerful.
My pain shows me where your healing wants to go.
And that's a choice, because like you said, we all, in those moments of our lives of that great trial and great suffering, there is that great surrender, like, what is it, really? Is this really happening? You know, and you feel abandoned, you know, but yet he's always in those moments when we feel abandoned, he's ever so close to us.
Yes.
If we could just open our eyes and see and say, you've not abandoned me. You're right alongside with me. You're in this moment with me, in this darkest hour of my soul.
I think that Blessed Mother and the Holy Family, we think about them and we think about how holy they were, and we think, oh, of course, well, Jesus was right there with them. But the mystery of it was that God with us, Emmanuel, God wants to be that close to each family and each one of us through all of our trials, all of our sufferings. But the difference was with Mary and with Joseph was that they were willing to let him be with them, not just physically with them. Like, you know, you can go into church, Jesus in the tabernacle, you can receive Jesus in the Eucharist. He can be right there with you, but you still have to let him like enter in your heart and be with you in your pain and suffering. And that's when he can transform it into something beautiful and draw us and make us holy. We have to give him permission. That's what Mary did. And so she went through so many trials. Their family went through chaos all the time. They were refugees. They were, you know, all these things. But God used it in a beautiful way. And I think that he wants to do that with each of us too.
Yeah, well, you say that in your words in this song, into the chaos groaning, labor pains, a new creation is forming. So it's a direct opposite of what you're thinking, like this is labor to death. I'm going to deliver my child who's not alive. But you're saying, no, this labor, you're going to do a new creation. You're going to make something out of this that's glorious. And that's the mystery that Our Lady knew.
She knew that as she stood at the foot of the
She
cross,
did.
and her
She didn't
son
say,
was,
stop this, let him go. Like, I demand you do this.
her son died a gruesome death unjustly, and yet it became the source of our salvation.
Well, and that's the journey of our faith. We either believe that he is going to bring beauty out of the ashes and not curse the ashes. Let the ashes be what they are. Because you know what? We're all going to have trials and tribulations throughout the journey of this life. And the most important thing is how we respond to it. How we respond to it. And that's the test of our life. That's the test of our faith. Am I going to curse God? Am I going to shut him off and say, no more, enough, basta, no more pain, I've had it, you know, or I'm going to say, thy will be done.
But I think that also people have to realize that it's not a lack of faith to actually face the reality of your emotions and go through the grief process. People can feel guilty and think, I just need to like tell God I trust him, and like, you know, they sort of skip over the grieving process. It takes a lot of courage to actually realize that in your humanity, that God understands all of that, and that you have to have courage to actually face all of those human things. If you need to have counseling, if you need to, you know, sob with your husband or your friend, if you need to, like, you know, yell outside in the woods, all of that is actually part of the faith, and you can't skip over that.
Right.
And so you have to go there.
Right.
You can't just go right to this proclamation of sort of resurrection faith. You have to walk through and stare at the crucifix. You have
As
to,
ugly as it all is.
you have to face it. Yeah, and it takes a lot of guts to actually do that.
Well, we're going to hold you over for the final segment. Plenty more to come. Go to daniellerose.org. Danielle Rose, that's with 2 L's, .org. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Welcome back. We're at Home with Jim and Joy, and we're finishing up our conversation with Danielle Rose. You can go to her website, daniellerose.org. Well, tell our family a little bit about Beauty Unnoticed and the Music Memorial. What is that?
The musical memorial with this album, Beauty Unnoticed, is an opportunity for others who have lost a child to give witness and share their story. This is done in a confidential way that if they go to the website, daniellerose.org, or beautyunnoticed.net, both of those, or the app, the Beauty Unnoticed app that you can download from the Apple or Google app stores. If there's someone who has lost a child, or if you know someone, then you can go and share the testimony of that child, the child's name, the family's name, if there's a photograph, the date of the child, share the story, share the parents' names, contact information. It's not something that's publicly shared, but it's a place where they can go and just share their story. And it's something that I've been blessed and privileged to have families that have entrusted those sacred testimonies to me, be able to dialogue with them, speak to them, and then be able to acknowledge the lives of these beautiful children that have gone home to God, whose stories often are remaining unnoticed.
Well, it really says, and memorializing is so important, not only for the child, because you don't want the child to go unnoticed, but it says to me, I had a child who touched base in history. Just like God touched down in time and in history in Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh. My kid was a hope, something I pondered for years and took on material form, and I remember him. He touched base in history. I want to tell the story. I want to mention him. I want to name him. And so they're able to do that at your site.
Child made in God's image, who's very much alive in him. So I encourage, if there is someone that you know who has suffered the loss of a child, or you in your own family years ago, or if you know someone, a grandchild or whatever, that you would bear witness to their life and go and share the testimony. Do you mind if I speak to those who have suffered? If you have suffered the loss of a child in miscarriage or stillbirth or any kind of tragedy, and if there hasn't been someone who's told this to you, I just want you to know how profoundly sorry I am for your loss and for all that you've suffered in that surrender. I know that it's so painful. And I pray for you that you would know that this child, that your child or your children are so much a part of your family, and that you will be, God willing, with them someday for eternal life. That my prayer for you is that you will know God's love for you very deeply, the same way that Mary knew the Father's love even when her son Jesus was crucified, a tragic death with her innocent child. I pray for you that you will have courage to be able to walk through the process of healing and share with others that you have a child that has died. I pray that you would, when someone asks you about your family, that you'll tell them about that child. Help the world to know that when there's a baby in the womb, no matter for 2 days or 40 weeks, that is a beautiful person made in his image. I pray that by you speaking about that child, that it will give others the opportunity to be able to experience healing by acknowledging their children's lives as well, those who have gone home to God. And I pray that your heart will be expanded to be able to suffer with others who have lost a child. And so know my prayers for you, and I pray that this music on Beauty Unnoticed can be a source of healing for you as you continue to miss your child on this earth, and that your longing for them will actually help you have a deeper longing for Jesus and for heaven. And I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm sending big hugs from my guardian angel to you right now.
Danielle, thank you so much for answering your call as a mom and as a wife and ministering to so many today. God bless you. God bless all of your loved ones. You're an important part of this family, and you're never alone. You're always at home with Jim and Joy. Bye now.